Alright, this video will be on multiplying polynomials. So something that's easy about these is that it's very similar no matter how many terms you have within each parenthesis. So as you can see for this first one, which you may have seen something similar to this, all you would do to multiply this is use the distributive property. So you'd multiply x over to the 2x and x over to the -1, and then you do the same thing with the 3 over to the 2x and the 3 over to the -1. This would end up giving you, so x times 2x would be 2x squared, x times -1 would be -x, and then you'd go over to the 3 times 2x would be positive 6x, and then 3 distributed over to the 1 would be a minus 3. Now, after that, you just combine all the like terms. So in here you can see that you have a -x and a positive 6x, which can be combined into 5x. You don't have any other terms with an x squared, and then you have the minus 3. So the final answer for this one would just be 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. And then for these other two examples that I have listed over here, once again, it's just the exact same process. You'd take the 4x, you'd multiply it by the x squared. You'd take the 4x, multiply it by the -x, and then you take it again and multiply it by the 1. And you do the same thing with the 5 to all three terms. And then all you do is just add the terms and combine them all the like terms together. So by looking at this, the first one you do is 4x times x squared, which would give you 4x to the third. Then you would do 4x times -x, which would give you -4x squared. And then you do 4x times 1, which would just give you a positive 4x. Now you move over to the 5, and then you do 5 times each of its three separate terms, as shown there. And the first one would give you 5 times x squared, which would just be 5x squared. 5 times -x would be minus 5x, and then 5 times 1 would be a positive 5. And then by looking at all of these, all you'd have to do now is just combine all the like terms. So you can see that there's only one term that has an x cubed. There are two terms that have an x squared, so you would definitely combine those. There's two terms that have an x, and there's one term that doesn't have any variable multiplied by it. So you'd take the 4x cubed, because there aren't any other terms with an x cubed, you would just leave it like that. You would subtract you would add the 4x squared and the 5x squared, but since the 4x squared is negative, you'd take it away from the 5x squared, which would just leave you with a positive x squared. You would add the 4x and the -5x, which would give you -x, and then the last term you're left with is a positive 5. And that there would be your final answer. And then once again, for this last example I've listed, it's just the exact same process. You'd take the first term in the first equation, you'd multiply it by all three terms, and then you'd add them, do the same thing for the second one, and the same thing for the third term. So going through this example, the first one would give you 2. You would have x squared times 2x squared, which would give you 2 times x to the fourth. You'd have x squared times -2x, which would give you minus 2x to the third. X squared times 2, which would just give you a positive 2x squared. Then you'd move over to the second term. X times 2x squared would give you a positive 3x cubed. X times -2x would give you a minus 2x squared. And x times 2 would give you a positive 2x. I'm going to move down the line here because we're running out of room. For the final term, you'd have 1 times that whole equation, which would just give you that equation again. So you'd have a positive 2x squared, and then 1 times -2x would just give you a minus 2x. and then 1 times 2 would give you a positive 2. So after you've done that, all you do is go through once again and look at all the terms that have similar that are attached to variables with the same power. So you have 1, 2x to the fourth, and then for the 2x to the cubed, you have 1 right there, another x cubed right there. For the x squareds, you have 1 right there, 1 right there, and 1 right there. So you have 3 of those. You have 2 terms with an x in it and 1 term with no variable attached to it. So your final answer for this one would be 2x to the fourth, and then you would add the negative 2x cubed and the positive 3x cubed to give you a positive x cubed. You would add the 2x squared and the negative 2x squared along with this other positive 2x squared over here, which would give you a positive 2x squared. You would add the 2x and the negative 2x, which would give you nothing, and then you are left with the 2, and there's your final answer for that one.